Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a
What's
light
your
on
story?
incredible. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions, where we highlight disability advocates and changemakers and the amazing work that they do. My name is Sapir Yarden. I'm your host for today's episode, and I head up accessiBe's nonprofit partnership team. I'm really excited for our guest, Michelle Brier from BluePath Service Dogs. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you, Sapir. Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. So why don't we get started, and can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. I live in New York State, just north of New York City. I am recently a new homeowner, which has been a hilariously humbling experience. I have worked in the nonprofit sector for my entire career, beginning actually when I was living in New Zealand, which was an incredible experience. And outside of my work life, I ride horses, I love to travel, I do a lot of CrossFit, and I hike as much as possible with my best buddy who's sleeping under the desk right now, a German Shepherd named Dina, who has her 14th birthday tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday to Dina, and congratulations on your new home. Really exciting to have that. So I'm so
Thank
excited for
you.
this conversation because I knew that you worked at another nonprofit, but first, can you tell us about BluePath Service Dogs?
Yes, so BluePath was established in 2016. Our work is to provide service dogs with children with autism who are prone to dangerous elopement behaviors. Essentially, about half of kids diagnosed with autism may bolt or elope at any point in time with no real understanding of how dangerous the outcome might be. So, kids with autism are really drawn to water but don't often know how to swim. What ends up happening is that trips outside the home for families become so incredibly frightening that they end up just staying home or adopting divide and conquer strategies where mom might go somewhere while dad stays home or vice versa. So autism service dogs are the only effective intervention to that elopement behavior and really allow families to come back out into the community knowing that their kids are safe. And then in addition to that safety benefit, dogs are amazing. So they help to facilitate connection with other people. They can be this incredible grounding presence in times of sensory overstimulation or extreme anxiety. And they often become a child's best friend in a relationship where verbal language isn't necessary.
Wow. So that is an incredible organization. It sounds like you're providing a benefit not only to the autistic person, but also to their family and to their loved ones. So granting them that flexibility.
Absolutely. I feel like it has an exponential effect in that we're allowing a child to be more independent and to fully exist and thrive in the world. And in turn, that those benefits extend to the family and then to that wider community because this family is now able to be an active participant in the world.
So you mentioned that you had a career in nonprofits. What led you to BluePath?
So I mentioned earlier how I rode horses and still do. And I always thought the connection between a horse and a rider was one of the most powerful human animal bonds that existed in the world. And then I discovered service dogs and saw how a dog could really help to expand the possibilities in someone's life. And I realized it was an even deeper connection and for such an important purpose. So I'm one of the founders of BluePath, so I've been involved since the very beginning. I wrote the business plan in my kitchen and named our organization. And there was a lot of thoughtful due diligence when it came to establishing the framework of what our organization does today. But in terms of my own personal involvement, there wasn't a lot of decision making. It's always felt like a calling. I love getting to do this work.
I love that. That is so much fun when you get to have a career that is also a passion. Can you share with us a memorable moment or something that's had a lasting impact on you?
Yeah, so I get to have a lot of them in my job. I would say the one that came to mind first, we have graduation ceremonies throughout the year where a service dog who has completed his training has now been matched with a family. We usually have between 4 and 6 families come in at the same time in a class to learn how to utilize their service dogs. And then at the culmination of this training, we have a graduation ceremony where not only are these families celebrating being able to take this dog home and essentially have this world of expanded possibility with their dogs, but all of the volunteers who have been involved in that dog's journey join us that day. So everyone from the puppy raiser who had the dog for the first 18 months of his or her life, to the foster family who kept the dog in formal training, and any other people who touched that dog along the way. They get to see truly the impact of the work that they've done. And it's a beautiful moment. And I think one of my favorite parts is when the dog sees his or her puppy raiser for the first time in maybe 6 months or a year. And they never ever forget. They are so excited to see their people. And in those moments, on those graduation days, there are so many lifelong friendships that are formed as a result of the connection to that dog. It's a really beautiful
Wow,
thing.
that must be so special to witness and to be part of.
It makes me cry every single time, and it makes me laugh while crying because I'm like, how does this never get old? But it's wonderful every single time it happens.
Amazing. And given the audience and who you're working with, when you hear the word accessibility, what comes to mind for you?
So I think I've probably already used some of these words, some of this language, but to me, accessibility is about empowering people to be able to live the fullest lives possible. I like the idea of leveling the playing field so that everyone has the chance to be able to succeed in their work and in their personal lives.
Yeah, amazing. And having worked at different nonprofits, do you think that there's a connecting line in what we can do as a society to make the world more inclusive?
I think that we all have the ability to be more curious, to listen more, to ask more questions. I think the biggest barrier to access is understanding, and that if more of us can connect to ideas and experiences that are outside of our sphere, that's the way we move forward, is developing that ability to be empathetic for something that you haven't potentially been through in your own life.
That is such a good answer. And so, to extrapolate on that, do you have a message for the business community in what they could do to make the world more inclusive?
So from a business sense, I think there's so much around how we recruit and how we think about workforce. Being able to have more diverse staff is obviously going to attract more diverse consumers and ultimately more business. But every business will make better choices with a variety of perspectives. I read this quote recently that says that smart teams will do amazing things, but truly diverse teams will do impossible things. And I wholly believe that.
I got goosebumps from you saying that, so I believe that too. My final question for you today is, what do you wish people knew about people with disabilities that they might have some misconception or they might not know to begin with?
So I struggle a little bit with that because I don't know that I have one overarching sentiment that would speak to the population that has a disability. And I have so many friends with disabilities, and in that group, there is so much diversity. But I will say, one of my close friends is a guy named Randy Pierce. He is totally blind, and he's the CEO of a large nonprofit located in New Hampshire. I have done some of the coolest things I've ever done in my own life with Randy. We climbed Mount Kilimanjaro together. He regularly does Tough Mudders and runs marathons. essentially, short of driving a car, which may soon not actually be an issue, there's really nothing that Randy can't do. And so I think, like anything else, a person with disabilities has to be thought of as an individual person first. And then as a society, we can look at how we can remove whatever obstacles are in the way for someone to be able to be who they are and to be the best version of themselves. So that was a long, windy answer that I'm not sure totally answered your question, but some of my general thoughts on, I think, just treating everyone individually and how every single person in this world has something amazing to offer.
Amazing. You answered my question better than I asked it. So I really appreciate you doing that and for sharing your insights. And how lucky are the community of BluePath to have you as their leader, as someone who's involved, and to share your insights with us. We're really grateful. So thank you so much for joining us on Spotlight Sessions today.
Thank you so much for having me, Sapir. This has been so much fun.
Amazing. So to all of our listeners, thank you as well for tuning in. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and also continue the conversation with us on Instagram by following at accessiBe_community. We look forward to seeing you there.